On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we've got the Umass recap. Kind of focused in less on the game, obviously, because it was a blowout. And more, we talked about a few players, some of the younger guys who kind of got to get in, guys we haven't seen too much of this season, and just what we made of it. Did talk about special teams because that was pretty terrible. So had a conversation about that. Had a conversation just about kind of how Brady looked, how Luther looked, to an extent as well. Again, with the caveat that it is UMass, but we did again dive more into some of the younger guys and how they performed, stuff we liked, stuff we didn't like, and just tried to process a kind of a bye game as best we could, because now we roll into Auburn. So exciting stuff coming up for this show with big games here for the rest of the season. But just summarize that game, and then we did quick hits. Kenny had a quiz for us actually about Auburn, so looking ahead to that game, and then did our Tigers in the Wild and finished with headlines. We talked some college football, obviously a bunch of big games this week, so we talked about those just to finish off a good show for you guys. So yeah, dive in, get your week started, and enjoy the show, because it's gonna get a lot more intense from here in these previews and recaps and all that stuff, with more big games from Mizzou as they try and salvage what they can from this season that felt like it went off the rails last week. But obviously they got the win at UMass, so got to take it one game at a time. We'll take it one show at a time, and the Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, October 14th. And congratulations, Kenny. Mizzou did not beat UMass 85-0 like Payton and I so closely predicted. So you got the score guess right this week. Mizzou beats UMass 45-3. The Tigers improve. And, I guess I don't really know if they improved, but they improved in their record. They won a football game. They went to Amherst, Massachusetts. It didn't end up on the day of the game being as bad as I thought it would be. I guess maybe my Twitter wasn't as full as I thought it would be, with like, oh my God, why is an SEC team playing? But there was one tweet, I forget who it was, but shout out to them from the Missourian, who just tweeted a shot of the field from the press box. And I just couldn't help myself and quote tweeted it and said, an SEC team is playing on this field. But Mizzou won. A football game certainly happened. Payton, this is probably the first time, I think, since I've known Payton, where he hasn't watched a full Mizzou game out of choice. Like, I don't know if you've maybe missed some for obligations, but when you told me yesterday you had to rewatch the second half because you were just like, I didn't blame you. But a football game happened, gentlemen. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch pretty much any of the fourth quarter. I know Williams Nwaneri had his first career sack, so that's really good. Pretty much everything else from this game is completely worthless. You had Luther Burden get that 61-yard jet sweep touchdown. That would be a 3-yard loss against most teams because it wasn't very well blocked. It just absolutely, my feelings did not change based off this game. I guess the only thing was I thought it was kind of interesting that Drink let his passing offense play so long. He had Brady Cook go back out there late into the third with the game well in hand, because Missouri was showing it early. If they wanted to, they could have literally thrown 0 passes and won this game by 30 plus. It was such a mismatch. No disrespect to UMass. It's not at all. I'm not trying to be mean about it. They're just, it's a completely different level of the sport. And it's pretty silly that this game happened. I guess Mizzou can say that they have done something no SEC team has ever done, and that's go to UMass and win. That's historic, so good for them. But it wasn't really anything that it was just more of the same, basically. You didn't have Nate Noel. It was a weird situation with him, and then later on in the game we heard that he didn't play with back tightness. So it was pretty much a Marcus Carroll Jamal Roberts show, just rotating in and out. Kawan Lacey got a few first half snaps as well. But the run game was fine. There were still issues with the run game. I remember, I think it was Marcus Carroll's 30-yard touchdown. Both the guards, Caden Green and Cameron Johnson, just got blown backwards. It was still not a very good day, not a perfect day from the O-line. I wasn't impressed with the secondary. I thought that UMass still had way too much success than they probably should have in the past game. But again, nothing about my thoughts about this team was going to change in this game unless they somehow found a way to really be in a battle with them late into the game. It was just a total talent mismatch. I didn't like the way Mizzou played in the first half. I thought they played well in the third quarter. Just not really much else to add, though. It was a total throwaway game.
Yeah, you didn't learn much. I don't think many people thought they were going to learn much. I know you liked seeing some of those younger guys get in there. Nicholas Rodriguez was probably one of the biggest ones, the freshman linebacker from Florida. But, just all around, I thought it was a lot of fun. It lived up to all the hype in my head. All the photos coming in, the foliage. That was a big word that just kept getting tossed around. This was great. It was a cool thing to see. I understand people frustrations, annoyed that this game happened, but that's just college football. It's just one of those things where just you don't see this really anywhere else. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching that game. It was a quick one too, which was nice to just kind of get it over with. Overall, though, I seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, whatever, Kenny. Way to find the silver lining.
You stink, man. I hate that. I hate that.
Morris Jones got 6 carries, so that also.
41 yards. That was far and away his best game as a Tiger.
The Kenny Van Doren camp takes a win.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, Kenny Van Doren camp. You did not take a win, though, in special teams. I was going to talk about what I liked in this game, but then you talked about the Kenny Van Doren camp. My God, the highlights I watched, there were 3 special teams plays. One of them was the Blake Craig field goal just because they were showing all the scores. And then the other 2 was a near kickoff return for touchdown. It almost got broken open for UMass. And then them getting a fake punt on a 4th and 1 and taking it for 50 yards. Payton, I know you're sick of this. You don't even have to talk if you don't want. I'll let Kenny defend his unit first. Unless he's done defending it.
I'll have something to add after Kenny.
But... Yeah, I'll let Kenny go first. But Matt, how does this just continue to happen year on year on year? I know we were early to this take, but God, special team sucks. It sucks. I hate watching Mizzou have to operate in it ever.
Yeah. When I was watching this game and you see those mishaps, just even in the return game, botching a return inside your own 10 and kind of putting your offense in a weird spot. Just a lot of those things, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot, stepping on their own tail. Same old stuff we said. I think I'm kind of just done defending it. I always try to give a benefit of the doubt with some of the coaches, and there's a lot that goes into special teams. It's not just Eric Link. There's other coaches that help with returners, but a lot of blame has to fall on someone, and it's not really hasn't gotten better over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I wonder who that blame would go on. I really don't know what else to say about it. This has been an issue for sure for 3 years. Since 2022, it's been real bad. You've had struggles even finding a punter, and Luke Bowers had a nice year. I don't want to dogpile on him. I've actually been happy with what he's given Mizzou, but it is still funny because he got benched late last year and they tried to bring in another replacement. So real good eye for scouting there that the special teams coach, whoever that is, has. But it really there's not a whole lot else to add. They're literally that fake punt. Sam Acho, the color commentator, was calling it from the booth. Everyone in the world knew that was coming, except for the guy that coaches the unit. He has consistently been the worst assistant coach on staff since his time at Mizzou began. Except with the exception of Jethro Franklin, the embattled D-line coach who was fired after 4 weeks. I don't really know what else to say about it. congrats. He got Luke Bauer to throw an absolute dime to Marquise Johnson against Kentucky last year. Other than having Harrison Mevis, which I don't even know how much credit you can give him that for, what has Eric Link done at Mizzou that you would say has been a positive? The special teams units are always a net negative. There have been times where it has straight up lost them games. See Kentucky in 2022, for an example. I just don't know what it's like banging your head against the wall every week watching those units.
Yeah. Finding a way to be bad in 3 highlights, 2 out of 3 highlights in a game where you win 45-3 is a hard thing to do, especially on special teams. They don't even show that many highlights on special teams. Yeah, it's not good. Hey, Kenny, you have any final thoughts? You're giving up. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Do we have Eric Link on the ban list? Should we put him on the show ban list?
If he wants to come on the show and defend himself, he's more than welcome.
Okay, well, we won't put him on the ban list then. That's an open invitation.
I mean, I'll give him credit. He's gotten some good long snappers. That's my favorite position on the field too. So I'll give him his flowers there. But yeah, I think I'm done kind of defending it. It was more so a joke over the last couple of weeks and months, especially just to bait Payton. But now I don't think I can defend him any longer.
They're just, I mean, I really like that 2022 game against Kentucky where they just kept giving Kentucky short fields for no reason. No reason. I know Kenny said there was a reason after the game. It's like the dumbest reason ever. Like, Kenny, can you remind me like why they said they kept giving Kentucky short fields?
Was it something to do with the kick returner?
Yeah, because of the kick returner and it was windy. Like, so dumb. So they're like, yeah, let's just give the NFL quarterback a short field. It's consistently been a poorly coached unit, and it's not been good. And I mean, in a game where you can't really take too much out of it, other than like the couple of things I thought of were, like Kenny mentioned, Nick Rodriguez did not just get in at the end of the game. He was getting like legit snaps in this game. I believe he's the second freshman to burn his red shirt because I believe Greco has been playing a lot of special teams and he burned it. And I mean, he led the team in tackles with 9. So cool to see that from him. Nwaneri getting a sack was great. Norfleet finally had catches that were more than 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and had a touchdown even. So cool for him. But other than getting guys that normally don't play some playing time in this one, I didn't really learn anything new. Josh Manning, that was as positive, and I know Kenny's a big fan of Josh Manning, so he can kind of take over there. But it just the only hard takeaway I had coming out of this game was, wow, the special teams are still really bad.
That's where I was gonna go next. I mean, I was just gonna ask who specifically you liked that you saw. So I guess I'll let Kenny give him the platform to talk about Josh Manning, but then anyone else, Kenny, that maybe got to get in that we haven't seen too much of. You've touched on a few guys already, whether it's running backs. You've got the PFF pulled up, but just anybody that stood out to you that had a chance to obviously play in a weird sort of throwaway game.
Yeah, I like Josh Manning. I covered him a little bit when he was a commit to Missouri back in the class of 2023. He's kind of stuck in a deep wide receiver room. There was an opportunity for him to go to K-State. I don't know if maybe he'd be a little bit higher on the depth chart there, but it was good to see that touchdown. And it wasn't like Brady Cook made like this great pass. He just kind of hit him with a short pass and he just bursted down the field for a 63-yard touchdown. And that was his first touchdown in college. He didn't really have many participation games last season, but this year he's seen an uptick in production at the wide receiver position. He's on special teams. He's been back for some returns. He's just a big body too. Seems like a lot of guys just like him. He took a real big step this past summer, and it just kind of shows you where this future of the wide receiver room goes, because next season you're going to be without Luther most likely. Diowice is gone. It sounded like Mookie Cooper is moving on as well, just based on comments last season. And so I just think for Josh
as well.
Okay, out of eligibility, just like Theo. And so You look at a guy like Josh Manning, and you are playing against UMass, but you're seeing a guy who's seeing an uptick in production, someone who's getting on the field a lot more, and you just want to see that kind of moving forward when your starting 3 wide receivers won't be back next season.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, Kenny. I mean, I remember Mekhi Miller did something in this game too, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I forgot about Mekhi." That's just a lot of guys get lost in the shuffle. I mean, last year Josh Manning, like you said, he was a decoy every time he went out there. I'm pretty sure I even said this like at the Cotton Bowl because he was out there. I'm like, okay, well, this ball's not getting snapped because it was always we're gonna try and just get him on a hard count. So it is cool to see a guy like Josh Manning who he did get the red shirt last year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, still a red shirt freshman and kind of showing his growth. That's really big for Mizzou. I wouldn't say someone.
No,
he is
he's
just
a
a
Played in
sophomore.
all 12 games.
Okay, so
That was special teams.
I will say this is going to maybe come as a shock to just about everyone that has listened to this podcast for a long time, and it wasn't necessarily that he stood out, but it was a thing that happened that stood out. Mitchell Walters rotated in and out with Caden Green. I mean, it wasn't a straight up benching with Caden Green as it turned out. They literally were one snap apart in snaps. It was Mitchell Walters had 36 in and Caden Green would have 35. I didn't watch the fourth quarter, so I don't know if that was maybe Walters coming in and kicking out to left guard, but he definitely did play left guard in the first half. So that kind of was something that stood out to me. Unfortunately, Caden Green, he's just been up and down this year. And, he's still super young. It's just his second full year in college, but I think Mizzou was probably expecting a bit more from him and Marcus Bryant as well. The left side has just been too turbulent so far. I don't think yesterday was necessarily a huge step forward in that regard, but that did stand out to me that Mitchell Walters did at least rotate in with him a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Kenny's got PFF pulled up. It looks like he's the best pass block grade, at least from everybody on the
but he was 58 overall. So
on the screen. Yeah, 58 overall offensive grade.
Look at Caden Green and 82.4. That's the interesting thing with Green. He's been largely really good in pass pro, but when you're a guard and Mizzou is trying to run all these wide zone is their bread and butter in the run game. They ran it so effectively with Schrader last year because, I mean, everyone on that O-line was just moving people in the run game, and they need Caden Green to be better there. A lot of reserves got to play in this one. Logan Reichert played. Tristan Wilson played. So, yeah, very cool. I believe James Madison played his first. Yeah, there he is. He played 4 snaps. Those are his first collegiate snaps. So, basically, that's what this game was. I mean, it was just a chance to get some young guys in there, get their feet wet. James played a little bit. So, yeah. Taylon Chandler, man, just a who's who got out there yesterday. Oh, Taylon Chandler had a penalty too as well.
Yeah, it was a who's who. I was relieved. You mentioned the Norfleet touchdown. Like, for me, the two things that I saw that just kind of made me happy were him scoring and then Luther just kind of being able to look like a video game against UMass. I mean, his touchdown run was just ridiculous. He's the best player on the field. He probably would have even wanted to get the ball more than he did, but I mean, he had more rushing yards than he did receiving yards because they were just giving him the ball there mostly because of that one play. But yeah, I thought that was good to just kind of see him get let loose at the beginning. And then I think Norfleet, if there's one person who you're like, man, you just needed to see one go in, so to speak, kind of feels like Brett Norfleet. It's like get him involved in the offense. Like we saw that the type of touchdown that he scored and the catches that he was making on Saturday, we saw so much last year. It was so helpful for this offense. So you kind of hope that, again, it's against UMass. So you got to get it going against a good team, but just to see one go in for him, that felt nice. I think tight end play being good was an underrated part of last year. So I think that'll help. Tyler Stevens too got involved. They were all
he didn't play much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I guess we got to kind of talk about it because it is kind of what matters the most. Brady Cook, 14 for 19, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, just another kind of whatever day. I mean, it wasn't like he was going to be able to silence a lot of the criticism. And in fact, I mean, a lot of people were angry about his ball to Luther that kind of got Luther dinged up. And look, I'm as frustrated as anyone else with how Brady Cook has played this year. It has not been near good enough, not been near what they need to make the playoffs, which is obviously the goal. But that ball to Luther was not a hospital ball like some people are making it out to be. I mean, it was high, yes, but it's a quick slant. Your All-American receivers got to be able to kind of catch that. And if it was a bigger game, Luther probably would have come back in. I know Drinkwitz between the quarters said he's going to be just fine. There was just no reason to really burn him against UMass, risk anything there. But Brady Cook, I mean, he had the one nice deep ball to Norfleet. He hit Theo on a free play, shades of the Cotton Bowl. But again, not really going to shut a lot of people up with a okay performance against UMass.
Yeah, just gotta go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of go from there, though, talking about not wasting these guys, out there against UMass. There were a couple injuries that kind of piled up in this game as well. Talking about Luther, Khalil Jacobs got banged up. He left the field with it was like arm tucked underneath his shirt without his pads on, so not a good sign there. And Drinkwitz didn't have an update after the game. Going into that game, you were without Tristan Newsome, which offered some of those snaps to Nicholas Rodriguez on the defensive line. You didn't have Joe Moore, one of your backup edge rushers, offering opportunities for some of the younger guys like Williams Nwaneri, Jalen Marshall. But it's just one of those things too, where you talk about Brady Cook playing deep into the third quarter. You want to keep these guys warm, keep them moving, even into week 7 right now. It's still at the same time, it sucks when you kind of come out of this game and there's already some injuries that were going into this game that you didn't know about it until like the last second, and then some other guys just get banged up as well.
Yeah, Kenny, elaborate on the Nate Noel thing. Was down to he got like back cramps on the plane ride there. Get some more comfortable seats. It's too long of a flight.
Yeah, Drinkwitz said that his back like tightened up and on the trip there, and he was suited up on the sideline, so that's why people were just worried. Maybe there was like a disciplinary thing, is like what people are assuming, and maybe they got injured in pregame, but just game time decision. I guess he was suited up, but just could not go.
I had heard he had back tightness. I didn't hear that it was on the trip there.
Yeah, they said like he like stiffened up like on the. I don't know if I don't know if it's because of the plane or anything like that, but they said it just kind of just happened
on the plane and the tray was still down, so he just slept funky. Wow.
Yeah.
It is funny because it's like I feel like we've all had that on a plane or like a long car ride, and you sleep the whole time and you wake up and just can't walk for a minute because you're like in a weird. That's so funny.
No, I've never had that.
You never had that happen to you?
No.
You just wake up and you're all right. Shut up. All right, 3. And also, I mean, Marcus Carroll made the most of it. To be fair, when he was out, 91 yards, 3 touchdowns. Well. I mean, he did well. All right, I go three big winners from this game from young players. Nick Deloach Williams, Nwaneri, Josh Manning. Would you swap any of those?
I would say Nick Rodriguez has to be on there leading the team.
Did I say Nick Deloach? My bad. Yeah. I meant Nicholas Rodriguez. Sorry.
Yeah, Rodriguez, I mean, that's probably a fair amount. I mean, Nwaneri making the most of his opportunity is big. He's definitely not someone I think we're expecting to see much of. But it is nice. I mean, that he's had an opportunity with Joe Moore sitting, like Kenny said, because of injury, and he made the most of it. So, again, I didn't see his sack. I believe it occurred in the fourth quarter. It wasn't in the highlight reel I watched. So, but sack's a sack.
Sack's a sack. All right. Kenny, any final thoughts? Ski, you want to take a victory lap for getting the score right in the easiest fashion ever?
I didn't get it right. I was just the closest.
Getting the closest.
Could I have said like 2-0 and I would have been right?
Yeah, you would have been 40.
Yes.
Or no, you wouldn't have.
No, not quite.
There's a 42-point win. Or no, you would. You would have if you said 2-0. By 2 points, you would have.
But you could have
I
also
wanted
said
to-
81-0 and still been right. Because
Yeah.
of what Payton and I did.
Yeah.
You want to what?
So this was the I want to go back to Nate Noel real quick.
Yeah.
Just for this was the quote from Drinkwitz. Unfortunate part of the travel, back locked up on him when he got here, just wasn't able to ever get it loose enough to play.
Okay, so it might not have been the plane. It just
It just
Could have been the
was just-
hotel bed.
yeah.
just part of traveling.
Firm mattress.
They went on a hike in those beautiful Amherst Pine Hills that Kenny whatever was BSing about at the top of this show, and he,
Foliage?
threw his back out.
That's all I said.
Foliage. Blowing it out of
It's-
proportion.
You guys are just coming
Foliage
after me.
gate.
Yeah, this is an Attack Kenny show because he got the score right. Yeah, this is a game that happened. I mean, it was good to see the young players, but now you gotta move on. You've got Auburn this week. Has to be a win. It's homecoming. So we'll have a preview for that game. Might have a guest too. No guarantees, but there's a possible tease for that. Any final thoughts, gents? Where would you like to see Mizzou play a game next in a crazy location, Kenny?
I think this should be like a game every year.
No.
Jesus.
Probably is it the Kibbe Dome where Idaho State plays?
Oh, there you
That's
go.
where Idaho plays, yeah. Just
Idaho.
the Vandals.
Kibbe Dome.
A really, really crazy place I'd love to see Mizzou play is I don't know, Autzen Stadium in Oregon or the Rose Bowl in for UCLA. Those
How
are
did I know
pretty
you were gonna
crazy
say that?
venues.
The Kibbe Activity Center.
It's a dome.
That is a
Very close to Pullman, Washington. I don't know if people know that.
yes. Pullman, Washington is basically in Idaho.
Kenny, it's just Idaho. It's not Idaho.
No, I want to show you guys Idaho
Oh,
State
oh.
Stadium too.
Oh, wow.
Also
Look at
dome.
that.
Yeah,
The Ed
it's
Chang Dome.
The Jang Dome. That's my pick. I'll go Idaho State. Or in Eastern Washington's Red Field.
yes, this is. I don't think it looks like this anymore, but I think those are green seats. It looks like blue on the right, black, yellow, and orange.
Why?
That is not very good. Come on,
I like
Idaho
their
State.
logo in that photo.
The Bengal or the IS?
The IS. I kind of like it.
It looks
It's
like
more
a
creative.
football team in like a Netflix show.
It does. Yeah. Or the create a team. Like this is when you pick arena option number 5 and you make a team on Madden 2012. Like this is one of the like defaults that you then customize.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like. All right. That's enough off the rails UMass talk. Thank God we can move on from this game. I'm so glad it just.
We're
just happened.
never, ever, I'm going to put it on record. This is the last time we will ever talk about UMass.
Until the first round
Ever.
of the NCAA tournament when Mizzou plays them as a 2 seed.
Okay, let me put a caveat on that. This will be the last time we mention UMass football again on this show.
Until they join the
I
MAC,
know Kenny's going
win
to
the
put them
MAC,
in
and
quick
make the
hits
playoff.
one day just to screw with me, but
Yeah, write that down. All right, that's enough. That's UMass. We'll have a preview for Auburn on Friday. Like I said, might have a guest for that, but will be a good preview either way. For now, though, let's segue off of UMass. I got some more college football to talk about in quick hits, which we will do right now. All right, quick hits time. We will close out the show. Kenny, do you have a quiz for us? Ken Sports Shorts.
Yes. With the Auburn game approaching for homecoming next Saturday, I thought it'd be a fun little quiz to look back on the matchups between these two teams in their history. It's going to be kind of a short one, an easy one. You guys know 2 of the games already, but these teams have met 4 times. We're going to go like multiple questions on this, but the first one is, what is Mizzou's all-time record against Auburn in those 4 meetings?
boy, I would not be shocked if it
1 and
is
3?
0-4. It is 1-3 at best, I'm guessing. They absolutely have 2 losses, obviously, 2 very notable ones, 2 very memorable ones. I'll go 1-3 with you, Knowlton. I like 1-3.
You guys are correct. It is 1-3. Those 2 notable losses, of course, are the SEC championship in 2013, 42-59, and then the overtime loss in 2022 on the Nate Pete fumble, 14-7
Oh,
at
my
Auburn. So
God, dude.
these teams have
So bad.
I'll go to the game that's sandwiched in between those. In 2017, it was the only time these two teams have ever played each other in Columbia. I want you guys to guess the final score of this game. It's not like a weird number or anything like that. Like it's two numbers that you should get. And then I'll tell you this: Mizzou got blown out.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
game. So if you guys want to guess the score of this game, and then the starting quarterback for Auburn.
So the starting quarterback, I believe, was Nick Marshall.
No,
not
not in
Marshall.
2017.
Oh yeah, no, I'm probably no, I'm too far. That's too far removed from Nick Marshall.
Oh, was the starting
Was it
quarterback?
Stidham?
Yeah.
Stidham?
Yeah.
was Jared
Yeah.
Stidham.
Stidham. Yeah, that's Jared Stidham. I was thinking
okay, so
John
this
Rice
was-
Plumlee. I had them confused in my head.
This
It
was the
Stidham.
year where like it was weird because like Mizzou was still like kind of wrecked by like the whole just everything with Pinkel leaving, the protests on campus and everything. So this was like they started 1-5 and then rattled off 6 straight wins and went to the Texas Bowl that year. I'm gonna because Auburn was good this year, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna say they probably lost. I've looked at this Wikipedia page before. Like Mizzou scored single digits, correct?
No.
Oh, geez, I have no
I
idea.
guess it
then.
was going to be 45-10.
I'm gonna
but-
guess 39 to 13.
Guys are both pretty close. It was 51-14. Auburn entered as the number 15 team in the country.
Yeah, Auburn was
Jared
good that
Stidham.
year, I'm pretty
Who else
sure.
was on that team? Do you have the record? I won't make you pull up the roster, but
I can go through the starters: Casey Dunn, Chandler Cox, Mike Horton, Jared Stidham, Kerryon Johnson, Braden Smith,
Carry on Johnson.
Brayon
yeah.
Johnson was good.
Austin Golson, Kyle Davis, Ryan Davis,
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff Holland. Oh,
So
Jamel
this-
Dean was on this
Oh,
team.
there you go.
Was this the
Yeah.
year they play? This was the year before they played UCF, right? In the Peach Bowl, or was this the year they played UCF in the Peach Bowl?
Man, Kenny
It was-
do
it
all
was
sorts of internet
Right,
research.
it's right around that era.
SEC championship loss to Georgia, and then the Peach Bowl loss to UCF.
So it was this
Yeah.
year. Wow.
10-4.
Was this the UCF undefeated year when they claimed the Natty?
Where they became
Yeah.
transitive property merchants.
Yeah. They loved to claim. They've got it on their scoreboard. Nice. Good quiz, Kenny. Good quiz. All right.
Well, I'll
I'll
actually
give
just,
another.
well, there's one last question for this.
All right.
So Mizzou did have that one win. I want you guys to guess the year of this win. It was the first time these teams met and where this game took place.
1962 in Camping World Stadium, Florida.
I will guess 1977 in St. Louis.
It was in the 1973 Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas.
Oh.
The Missouri Tigers defeated the Auburn Tigers 34-17.
Man, I'll tell you what. If I was a Missouri fan for that SEC title game, that might have broken me. That would have been real tough. Being a favorite and then having a team run for like 800 yards on you and score 59 to deny you a chance in the national title game. That would have killed me. That really would not have been easy for me to get over.
Yeah, hopefully Mizzou can.
Luckily, Missouri's not even going to flirt with
Yeah.
the playoffs
Yeah.
this year, so I won't have to worry.
No heartbreak probably coming this time. All right. I don't want to talk about that. Tigers in the Wild. Kenny, what's your Tiger in the Wild?
This one's, I didn't really, I mean, it's kind of a tough one to sneak in here, but I wanted to get this into a quick hit today. And Matt Harris from Rock M Nation posted this. It comes from Marquette wing Cam Johnson's IG story, but he
Cam
posted
Jones.
Cam Jones. IG story that they did like a secret scrimmage between Mizzou and Marquette. And I think the photo is just hilarious because he's doing like a side eye kind of, I don't know, like a smirk kind of at the camera with the Mizzou chairs in the background. So I think that was like his whole like point was to do that. I don't know. Cam Jones, I didn't know who he was until this post, but I thought that was pretty funny. This is the second time this has happened, right? Correct, Payton?
Yeah, they played last year in Chicago was the rumor, I believe. Never got like official results from it though. Sometimes these secret scrimmage results leak out. But Missouri has been able to keep a lid on it in their 2 matchups with the premier basketball program of Wisconsin.
I'm going to
That's
ignore
bait.
that comment. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't believe they need to keep these a secret anymore. I believe they changed the rules up. I think they can just let them. They can like report all this stuff. I don't think they have to actually do secret scrimmages now, unless they happen like before a certain date. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I remember hearing that they can like actually report them now. So maybe we'll get the results of this at some point. But I guess that is up to the teams if they want to actually release that stuff because it's not open to the public. But I would love to see Mizzou do some like, I don't know, just a couple of charity exhibition games just in that like kind of 2-week stretch right before the season. That would be kind of nice just to like at least even just look at a stat broadcast and talk about something. Just be a good way to build it. But
And
cool.
Hear me out. I'd love to just see a non-con against a team like Marquette. That'd be awesome.
Or UMass.
No.
Here we go with this
UMass crap. Not again. All right, Payton, after your bullshit comment, what's your Tiger in the Wild?
My Tiger in the Wild is going to be Jackson Lancaster, former Missouri Tiger and La Tech Bulldog, as it turns out. He got the start in Mesa for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays Arizona Fall League team. I have no idea how he did. Kenny might be able to illuminate us on that because I know he's a big Arizona Fall League fiend. But yeah, just no Tigers in the NFL right now. Darius Robinson's still working his way back. Ennis Rakestraw's still more of a reserve, so still waiting.
I don't know how he performed. If you want me to look it up, I can.
Kenny.
I didn't watch any of these games, but he did reply, always supporting the boys. Some of the Rays prospects asked if they could wear the Devil Rays jerseys in the Arizona Fall League instead of just the regular navy or white jerseys with the navy lettering. A very cool choice because you get to wear like the purple undershirt that he gets to wear with that one. You don't get to wear that with the regular blue jersey.
This like weirdly, it does kind of go with the hat for me. I don't know what it is. I dig this look. Maybe it's because the hat kind of matches the glove. He's doing well with this.
Do you want to fit? As I search for this game, do you guys want to guess what the team name is for Mesa?
Solar Sox.
You got it.
Oh, that's sick.
First choice. Lancaster started this game. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 earned run on 2 hits, which one of them was a home run solo shot, and he struck out 3.
Hey, 3 Ks. There you go, Jackson. That's what we're going to focus on. Because this is a positive show, and I'm a very positive person.
You're not. Also,
Who's
Kenny,
I
appreciate that. Like I was got distracted when you pulled up this tweet because when your name gets cut off, it just says Kenny Van Do
or Doe.
Don't. Yeah. Shout out Jackson Lancaster. Keep cooking. What is it? Solar Sox?
The Solar Sox.
That is a great name.
Yeah, I
know a lot of minor league teams' names are great, but that's a good one. My Tiger in the Wild. It's that time of the week again. It's Kobe Brown stats reporting time from the Clippers preseason game. Since we last spoke, Kobe Brown has played in 2 games. On October 8th, they played the Brooklyn Nets. He had not very like mind-blowing numbers, but he was very busy. 4 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a block against the Nets. And then on the 11th, a couple days ago against the Trailblazers, he had 5 points and 6 rebounds in the preseason. And then I found this tweet of this guy giving away a rookie card from him, which was kind of cool. Apparently only 150 of them were made.
Kobe Brown also posted on Instagram, and he had a photo of him shooting over Steph Curry. I don't know if he made it, but it's a 3-point attempt over Steph Curry, which is really cool.
It's pretty cool. It's just Steph and Kobe.
I think Kobe Brown also turned off, not that I blame him, but he turned off his notifications for Instagram because he used to go through and like all of his teammates' like comments and everything, and he doesn't do that anymore. Like Ronnie DeGray commented star, and it has no interactions. Kobe
He's
Brown
too
used
big.
to always like those images.
Is he too big time?
I think so. Tragomillion, Noah Carter.
Unreal. You gotta remember your boys from the zoo.
Wow, there's a Kobe Brown fan account on Instagram. That's how far we've come with Kobe Brown.
I love Kobe Brown. He's the best,
Yeah.
best ever. So many good memories. Thank you for those, Kobe Brown. But yeah, there you go. There's your obligatory reporting. Hopefully he plays a good amount in the regular season. All right, headlines.
That's a minor league baseball jersey he's wearing. This photo.
Oh,
Blue Rocket City Trash Pandas,
Oh, that's cool.
Alabama team.
are they from Hunt? Do they play in Huntsville? That's where he's from.
They played in
No, they
Rocket
play
City.
in Rocket City.
Oh, that would, yeah, should have heard that. All right, God, this is a terrible show for me. Headlines, Kenny.
My headline is pretty simple. AP Top 25. The update came out after we started recording, or before we started recording here on Sunday. Texas remains at number 1. Mizzou by default moved up to 19. I guess you could say it was because they won, but also teams in front of them shuffled their way out. So the Tigers moved from 21 to 19.
After there was an absolute bottleneck of teams last week, there was like 3 teams tied for 18. Also, the AP needs to update the website faster when the poll comes out. It's very annoying. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes after it actually comes out that they change it.
It was immediate for me. Why are we looking
Wow.
at one person's ballot?
Because
Look at
Army
Mizzou.
Navy ranked together for the first time since 1963. That's my one fact I'll add to this.
Funny to look at those rankings because it goes Army, Michigan, Navy. It's quite
That
the
is
quite the team selection there.
That's so wild. Similar stat, Payton. The top 3 quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns. It's Army's quarterback, then Jalen Milroe, and then Navy's quarterback.
Not
just
too
thought-
unexpected.
I thought that was funny to like just see.
Vanderbilt is number 26, man.
Yeah, big win over
How about
Kentucky. 4-2 Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And who would have thought the marquee game of the week in Big Ten play this week was 5-1 Nebraska against 6-0 Indiana. Indiana's a
Indiana number
powerhouse.
16. I mean, BYU is
16.
number 13. That is just
BYU.
crazy.
What's your favorite? Who's your favorite like dark horse team in the AP poll to make a playoff run right now? If you had to pick a team,
Maybe Clemson. Just because I mean, this is such a messy year right now. A team like Clemson could do it. Although I hesitate a little because Clemson has yet to beat a team that's above 500, but they've looked so good since that Georgia game. It was just like a shock to the system for them. Yeah, I mean LSU up to 8, maybe them. I don't love Miami. And I mean at that point you're in the top 6. So if I had to pick one, I'd say maybe Clemson. I don't really think Iowa State will make a whole ton of noise, although they are a good team.
Kenny, you got one?
Let's go Pitt.
Hit. All right.
Make the ACC championship, win the ACC. Get some upsets in there. 6-0 right now.
Man, Pitt is a number 4 seed in the first 12-team college football playoff. Will be something. That would be something.
Yeah.
I'd go maybe A&M right now. I'm starting to really like them, and not too much to the chagrin of Mizzou fans. Maybe Boise State, which is they have the Heisman winner.
I don't know, man. They looked real bad against Hawaii, and I know it's one game. You don't always get up for everyone, but until I see how a group of 5 fares in this format, I'm not gonna hitch a wagon to one.
It's valid. All right. There's our rankings. Payton, we're staying on the college football train. Headline.
Yeah, the game of the week in particular, I mean, headline here, Dylan Gabriel delivers as Oregon survives Ohio State. The real headline to me was just the ending there. I mean, Ohio State has 1st and 10 at Oregon's 28 with 30 seconds left or something like that, and they don't even manage to get a field goal attempt off. I mean, you had the Jeremiah Smith pass interference backing them up. The 12-man penalty that maybe Oregon took on purpose to burn 4 seconds, which is pretty insane. Then I mean the highlight, I mean, was just Will Howard thinking like he had more time than he did, just kind of getting frozen and then taken off slides down, but it was well after the time had expired. They don't get a timeout off. They don't get to kick a field goal.
It was
Uh,
a Dak Prescott against the 49ers from last year. It's
Yeah.
just like the same thing.
Pretty much. I mean, it was just a really ugly ending. And yeah, Oregon, who people were kind of who at the beginning of the year were writing off. I mean, all of a sudden they're number 2 in the nation and well deserved.
Yeah, this was crazy. Kenny, did you watch any of this game?
Yeah, watched the ending. I don't know if you guys remember this, but On3 posted a graphic a couple I think like maybe a month after the season ended, right when Will Howard announced that he was entering the portal, and Mizzou was on the graphic. And I remember like these are the teams that should consider Will Howard, and it just kind of made me think about it. Like, oh, the Brady Cook, like he hasn't had like the best season. They weren't ever gonna do that and go after a quarterback like Will Howard.
Yeah.
But man, like just like that mental lapse, like it's like, oh, I get, that wouldn't happen against UMass. That's just where my mind kind of goes. So this was a fun game to watch. I saw a pretty good tweet calling Ryan Day like the Michael Jordan of who was
James
Franklin's.
Yeah,
that's
I saw that.
Unbelievable tweet. The guy got it from Reddit, but that's really really funny.
I mean, a popular thing to say about Ryan Day was that he was born on third base. It's hard to dispute that. I believe they're like 2-6 under Ryan Day against AP top 10 teams. That is just not the standard at Ohio State.
I also loved all the stuff about people calling Dan Lanning a genius for putting the 12th guy on the field on purpose, and then they burnt the clock and took the penalty. And then that was what, and Will Howard forgot. That was what caused Will Howard to forget how much time was left because he thought they put the 10 seconds back on the clock. People were calling Dan Lanning a genius for that. They thought he was doing it on purpose, which I feel like that should be a rule. They should put the time back if it's like a pre-snap penalty, but I guess because it's not, they still lose the time. But in a situation like that, it is genius because you might as well just have the extra guy, not give up the big play. You're only getting a 5-yard gain on a 3rd and 25. I don't know. There were some good tweets. You can look all that up. But yeah, this was a fun game. Dillon Gabriel, he might be short, but that man can throw. So there you go.
And he's a lefty.
And he's a lefty. Love that. My headline of the week, coincidentally, was also this game. Dillon Gabriel delivers as Oregon survives Ohio State. Payton decided to not click on my link when I put this in our show doc and stole my headline. So, other college games where we had Tennessee almost losing, LSU beat Ole Miss. That was a good one. Penn State survived.
Destroyed Oklahoma. Man, Oklahoma's having a lot of quarterback troubles. If only they had someone like Dillon. If only they had their version of Dillon Gabriel, they could really use something like that right now.
Oklahoma's not ranked now, too.
Yeah, very well earned. They are not a top 25 team in football right now.
Texas is good.
Yeah, Texas is real good. Oklahoma, man, I mean, that's a game Missouri really should win. That Alabama-South Carolina game had like a crazy ending. South Carolina had about the worst game-winning drive attempt ever at the end, but is what it is. I don't come out of that game thinking, oh, Missouri can beat Alabama. I come out of that game thinking, oh, Missouri really might lose to South Carolina.
Kenny's trolling on the dock. Kenny, did you watch any other games this weekend?
Yeah, I enjoyed this game. I don't know if many people noticed this, but Oklahoma got on the board first.
We scored first. We scored first.
And then gave up 34 straight points.
Remember when Mizzou played Georgia in 2021 and scored first and then lost by like the same amount, like more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad. I watched the end of
this game though.
Yeah,
Mizzou against UMass.
No, we already talked.
Yeah, Penn State USC was also crazy. I mean, their tight end, Penn State, Warren. I mean, he had 17 receptions, 224 yards, a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, that 17 receptions is the most, like tied for the most in NCAA history for a tight end, which is just absurd.
So he's their guy. I actually didn't watch this game. I watched the end of LSU LSU Ole Miss though. That was crazy. Ole Miss takes the lead. LSU huge catch by Lacey in overtime. And I mean, yeah, like you talk about this to me felt like a winner go home game for like now I really am not sure if Ole Miss will make the playoff, and LSU you're kind of like bounce back after an early loss to USC. They can maybe be something.
I mean, LSU's top 10 now. Ole Miss fell all the way to 18. I think Ole Miss is they should probably be done. I think they have they have that game against Georgia later in the year that if they win that, you probably have to give them props. But I mean, the rest of their games don't help them. They got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida, and Miss State. It's going to be real tough path, real tough sledding for them.
This is a wasted opportunity for Lane because you looked at it and in theory they win that Kentucky game and then they lose this LSU game and you lose to Georgia and you're probably sitting pretty. But now,
probably fine,
like you said, you had an opportunity to go to probably an SEC championship at 11-1 with only a loss to Georgia, and now they're sliding.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they will not get a schedule much easier than the one they had this year, and they totally have blown it.
How about Florida too? Almost took down Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, Tennessee. They're starting to fall now, but they got so much credit for beating Kent State by 70. I think people kind of didn't realize their schedule is kind of not their strength of record right now is not super convincing.
Yeah, these were fun. To me, it's like a battle of the frauds next week with Tennessee and Bama because you got both them lost to unranked teams last week, struggled against bad unranked teams this week. Yeah. Which one will be the frauds? I don't know.
Clock's ticking for Billy Napier, probably. I mean,
it's been ticking.
Yeah,
it's been ticking.
It's getting a little louder.
There's your college football roundup of the week. That's all I have, folks. You got a joke for us, Payton?
Not at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll end the show.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, watching on the YouTube.
This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why do sweaters tend to hang out together?
I don't know.
Because they're really close knit.
It's good.
That was a good one. I was actually trying to think of that one. That was pretty good. Look at his mic. Do that again. Look at the little dot on his mic turn red when it does that.
I don't think it likes when I do that.
It does not like when you do that. All right, that'll do it. We'll have a more fun preview for Auburn, more fun game to talk about on Friday. But hope you guys enjoyed the UMass game. Enjoyed, I guess, essentially having a week off of being stressed about Mizzou because now it's back for the rest of the season. So strap in. But we'll get you guys for that game on Friday. We'll preview it. We'll have it all for you. We'll see you next time.